Hello, I make it 3 o'clock. Welcome everybody to the Richmond upon Thames All Sections meeting. Guess you know I'm Phil Hunt and I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes or so. This meeting replaces all previous section meetings, such as Rock Council, Scout Leader meetings and the like, which for lots of reasons were becoming less well attended. And because of the size of the district now, cascade communication was becoming more and more difficult. So now, instead of having to make your way across the borough in the dark and the wet, although it's wet this afternoon, several times if you're helped out with more than one section, you can now stay in the comfort of your own home and hear what's going on straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. He says, likening himself to a horse. Okay, so if this is Sunday, check your watches and it's around 3 o'clock, then this is a live broadcast and I'm sitting here in the district hub or the district shop. For the next 30 minutes or so, or maybe quicker, depending on how I get through this, I'll be giving you some important information, which I hope will be of particular relevance for everyone who delivers programs to young people. So that's you. You'll be muted throughout my part of the broadcast, and we blocked your video so as not to disturb proceedings. But you can submit questions or comment at any time using the little button, the little black button down at the bottom. I don't know where you are on there, but on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there's that symbol there. Type anything you like on there, and we can pick that up, and we'll respond to as many of those questions and comments as we can at the end of my part. The session is being recorded, so for those of people who couldn't make it this afternoon but want to hear what's going on, can do so too. So if it's not Sunday and it's not around 3 o'clock, naturally the Q&A session won't be working for you, as they say on Strictly Come Dancing. If you're watching on catch up, don't bother to vote. Okay, so today's session I'm going to run through fairly quickly. We've got some news and some current affairs from around the district, so I'm guessing this will be a standard agenda. We'll talk a little bit about transformation and our new ways of working, and I'll give you some important information that's relevant to everyone. We'll talk a little bit about district activities and events for everyone, and some services that you may or may not be familiar with. I'll talk a little bit about what the district is thinking and what's in the pipeline in terms of activities. So again, this is all going to be relevant for leaders, not all the management stuff that we will get embroiled in at district level as well. And then when I've finished all of that, questions, comments and responses. So if you do have anything, you've got a question, I've said something weird, or you just want to place a comment, do so in the comments part, and we'll see if we need to respond to any of those at the end. I am in the shop, as I say. There's a few people sitting in here. I'm not completely on my own in the shop. We do have some technical support with Matt sitting to my right and some other people sitting around in the room as well. So, first of all, sad news. You'll have doubtlessly heard by now that Ozzy, dear friend, passed away on the 29th of December at his home in Twickenham, having returned from a brief spell in hospital. He celebrated his 82nd birthday in December. Ozzy, of course, was a legend in the district and beyond. He gave more than 64 years of adult service, and his whole life was Scouts and about Scouts. Richmond, St Margaret's and beyond. Lots of people that I bump into said, "Oh, you're in the Scouts, you must know Ozzy." And everybody didn't know Ozzy. You'd find him at every district event, and his mischievous smile and raucous laughter was completely unmissable. So everyone is invited to the funeral, and afterwards at First Whitton headquarters here in Whitton. Do wear dress uniform where possible, and if you're in uniform, and if you like, you're invited to bring group flags if you can, because Ozzy did love a flag parade. If I remember St George's Day, he was always at the forefront with all the flags and everything. There is limited parking at at First Witton, but there will be parking outside in the streets. But everyone is invited, as I say. Please do come. Okay, in more news then, district news. So, as you may or may not know, we're in the final days of submitting census and the census figures to headquarters. The data we get from census drives a lot of other activities and informs many decisions at all levels. Headquarter level, to county and of course district. This year reflects tremendous work you've all been doing for our young people. Scouting this generation seems to be more popular than ever because of the great programs you're all doing. So if you have a quick look at the little slide that's up here, we have broken all records this year. Every section has grown significantly. Well, squirrels, they're all new anyway, but they've increased by 6%. Beavers are up 3%. Cubs, 6%. Scouts, 8 and a bit%, and explorers a complete massive 17% growth. That's absolutely enormous. So the stuff that we've been doing and focusing on the old age ranges is certainly showing through in this district, but that's also true of adults as well. We've got a record amount of adults working in the district now as well. So even ones with networks, so where we provided figures last year for network people, network scouts, if you don't know, are 18 to under 25s. We seem to have converted lots of those people into what you might call proper leaders. So fantastic, that's really, really good stuff. They're all coming back from university, which was one of the things that we wanted to do, is to retain young people, because scouting is, of course, for young people, by young people. That's kind of what we're aiming to do. So it's less and less old fuddy-duddies like me. It's for young people, by young people, which is absolutely terrific. So I'm really, really excited. It does make this district a very powerful district. It makes this district a very successful district. And what you might call penetration rates of young people. Our membership reflects a lot of population of young people compared to some of the other districts, certainly around London. So that's all down to you and all the fantastic program that you're all running. So my thanks, and it's terrific. The more numbers that we have in census does give us more support, and it gives us a bigger say and influence how scouting works. So we are a district to be reckoned with in that sense. That's really, really terrific. Thank you. Transformation. Here we go, next bit. So you all know that we've got new titles, and some of the language and the way we talk about our volunteering has changed. Some of you will be more impacted than others. But one of the big changes, though, is the technology that we've got. So everyone is now expected to manage their own scouting volunteering career and other actions on the new membership system. So everyone, including helpers with DBS, so that's the mums and dads that are coming on to camp and that sort of thing, because they have to do DBSs and because there are certain elements of basic training that need to happen, everyone needs to log in. You need to check your profile and look out for notifications for actions. So that's all the stuff, particularly learning and particularly permits. The new way of working relies entirely on you logging into the system and managing your own career, as I say. Team leaders, or what you might call line managers, so if you're reporting to somebody else as an adult, there's a whole load of other tasks to complete as well. There have been some difficulties with the new system as it comes in. As with any new computer system, there's always going to be some teething problems, and there have been some significant problems and challenges, more so for the management teams in the way of running reports and connecting to things. So we're aware of those, and they are working some through. I think this afternoon there was another email It's just that I'm sitting down about some new changes that's happening there. One of them is some people are not able to log in very successfully because it doesn't retain passwords and that sort of thing, or they haven't had their initial email inviting people to log in. So what I can tell you about that is a simple way. So if you go to our district website, the richmondscouts.org website, and on the top menu it says My Membership. If you click on that, there is another page, and it says Connect to the My Membership, the national system. Click there. If you've never logged in before, if you can, just choose Forgot Password, and then that will give you another routine, and it will tell you what to do. So if you've never logged in and you don't know how to do it, go to, as I say, our district website, go to My Membership, click on Forgot Password with your login ID, obviously, and it will allow you to log in from there. Please, 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 you need to do that. There are several hundred people in this district that haven't managed to log in yet. We need to do that. The whole new way of working is very, very dependent on you logging in. The other important thing to note, and sort of related to that, is that everybody, and I mean everybody, with certainly in uniform and trustees, will have needed to have completed the new safety training by early summer. So if you've done the training before and you said, oh, I did that in October, or I did that last June, or whatever, doesn't matter. There's a new version that's come out, and everybody has to, including me, have to redo the whole thing. I think we've got early summer, it's June. Now well, certainly before July, everybody has to do that. They're taking no prisoners. You have to do it via that online system, which is why I'm saying you've got to log on. You've got to click various things on there. If you don't know how to do it, we've got the whole district team that can help you to do that. But I will say that non-compliance with that or any of the other mandatory training learning will put you at risk, and you may not be allowed to continue to volunteer in the Scouts until it's done. They're getting really, really serious with that now. So there's no more, oh, well, I can't do it, never mind, I'll carry on going to Cubs. They won't let you do it. It's not me, it's not being nasty, it is the way that the Scouts are doing that, because we have to show that we are providing a proper and professional service, albeit that we're all volunteers. That mandatory training, of course, does include first aid. And everybody in uniform and everybody with a young person facing role will need to do that every 3 years. Nigel will be in touch, so if he hasn't yet, he will be hounding you about your first aid and doing all the first aid stuff. All the dates and details are on the district website in the members area. So everything that you need to know about training and the new system, everything you'll need to know goes through the richmondscouts.org.uk website. So whilst on the subject of the website, you probably all know the password in common. So the members part of the website has got a password. It is password protected, not because it holds some massive secrets that we don't want anybody to know, but it has got some stuff in there that's not really suitable for the general public, because it's got things such as people's phone numbers, it's got some addresses, there are some bank details, that sort of thing, which is fine for us to share as Scout leaders and in the district, but we don't really want that to go into the general public and worldwide, because the internet is of course worldwide. So there is a password restriction in there. It is common to everybody. Because this broadcast is going to be made public, I won't tell you what that is right now, but we can put that in comments afterwards, and we can put that in comments. It's a well-known thing. It is on a formula, and everybody should remember that. So The website, I will push it and I'll plug it. It has got everything that you need to know about every district event, every activity that's going, including all the district endorsed events that's organised elsewhere from county and other counties and all that sort of thing. Everything that you ever want to know that's happening or will be happening, or what our plans are, our thoughts, or if you want to know about other scout groups, it's all on the website. Want to get to a place, we need to get to a place where you automatically think of a question, have a look at the website first. It's almost 99% certain the answer to your question will be there. Anyway, so let's have a look at some of those activities. As I said, there are some activities that's going on there. So here we are. So there's quite a number. So this is straight from the website. So if you click on events, put in the password, this is the sort of thing that will come up. The next tranche of events that I've got up here, it says for explorers, the 50-mile, 50-kilometre and 30-mile hike that's organised by the Scout home counties. That's absolutely fantastic sort of challenge thing for the older scouts. I can't even read that. In May, nighttime hike, no, March, for the Scout South Downs. It's all on there. So what you need to do is go onto the events, click on there. If you click on more info, each of those events will have the details of what those events are and all the booking forms, all the costs and everything that you'll need to know. You don't need to pick up the phone. You don't need to email anybody else. So the district team will be in the practice of signposting, sending an email saying, all the details you need to know are on the website. A new event is being posted, such as Day Prowl or something. All the forms you need will be on the website. So therefore, you won't need to go rummaging around for some email that you will have received 3 weeks ago and went in your trash pile and that sort of thing to find the form. All the forms and all that sort of stuff will be on the website. So let's have another quick look at all the stuff that is coming up. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff that district is organising, and district and above is organising over the next term. So next term, a little bit more than the term. All kinds of things. So yesterday was the New Year's party for Beavers, which I understand was absolutely terrific and is very, very popular with the Beaver people. That's the Southern 50 Challenge in February. We've got night exercise for Scouts and Badge Day for Beavers that's coming up. Red Flare for Explorers, that's the night hike for Explorers, again quite challenging stuff. The ever popular air rifle competition in March, that's for Scouts and Explorers. That's on all week. I think that virtually every Scout and Explorer in the district like to go to those things, and I think if I remember correctly, there's also a few adults that hang on the end and they have a little side competition with a little bet on the side as well, which is absolutely terrific. It's a real sort of community thing. So the air rifle competition I do highly recommend. It's all at Twickenham Rifle Club. Now the Badge Day coming up for Beavers in May. Interestingly, on the 8th of June, we've been invited, have a look on the website, all the details again are there, for a parade. We all like a parade, we all like marching up and down with flags and all that sort of thing. So this is a parade for the twinning. So Richmond upon Thames, as you know, is twinned with Fontainebleau and what's the other one? Was it Constance in Germany. So apparently we've got some French people and some German people coming along and a lot of flag waving and all that sort of thing. So if you do like a parade, we've got at least one group that's coming along to that. Have a look on the website, come and join in. It's all really quite good fun. There's no cost or anything for that, but that's fantastic. And of course in June, big water camp, activity camp happening. I think that's booked now. I think that's fully taken. So if you haven't done all the forms and paid for it by now, I think you probably had it. But there are several hundred people going to that. And the Gilwell Fun Day happening in June for Beavers and Cubs. If you haven't heard about that, it's because we haven't got all the details out yet, but we have got some transport sorted, so we will be transporting people from here. You don't have to make your own way, so we've got some coaches and that sort of thing. Again, keep tabs on the website for all sorts of exciting news on that front. Not least of which is our big event of the year, our big happy birthday camp in August. We're there all week, but you don't have to come all week. You can come for a day, you can come for a couple of days, come and do everything. We've got everybody invited. So squirrels can come, beavers can come, cubs, scouts, explorers, network, adults, everybody. You're all invited to come and celebrate your birthday. The point is that everybody's going to have a birthday next year, so let's all celebrate your birthday all together at camp. I mean, what better place? We've got campfires, we've got every kind of activity that's going. It's brilliant. I know a lot of you have said, oh, you can't come because you're on your own, you haven't got enough volunteers, you can't bring your cub pack because you haven't got enough people to do the cooking and that sort of thing. Don't make that an excuse for not coming. The whole thing is about we're doing this for the young people. There's so much more that young people get from going to camp that they can't get in the scout hut. They're learning so much more, everything from games, but social skills as well, and leadership skills, all sorts of things that you can do at camp that you can't get, on a Tuesday night in your scout camp outside. So encouraging everybody to come to camp. So if you haven't got enough adult volunteers or enough support from adults and you think that you can't come, we can do that. This year, for the first time, the district team is organising a sub-camp for those young people whose leaders can't come, but can't produce a full team. Come and talk to us about that. We have got a sub-team to do that. So please, please, please don't make we can't come, we haven't got enough adults, an excuse not to come to that. The other exciting news is that we have managed to keep the prices down, so they are the same prices as 2023. So despite all that massive inflation and all that kind of thing, it's still probably the most best value for money camp that you'll ever go to. So there we go. There's a whole plug on that. I could go on all night, but I won't because it's the afternoon. Other district events in the pipeline. So these things are up on the website again, but some of the details are scant because they're still in planning mode. July, the Explorer Belt, so that's not in planning mode, that is definitely happening for explorers. They're all running around Poland, and the Explorer Belt, as you know, is probably the biggest and best scouting activity that an explorer can possibly do. It's where you get dumped into a foreign country, hopefully a country that you can't speak the language, and you have loads of challenges to go and do and make your way over 100 kilometers with virtually no money, and that's brilliant challenge, absolutely fantastic. It's like one of those TV programs that might find your way across the world, but for real. In September, we've got our district conference for all adult volunteers, so it's in Witton again, and those people that come regularly do know that we have a fantastic gourmet barbecue and a bar afterwards, and it's a real good social event. And I think we've got some singing again this year and that kind of thing. So if you've not been, do come. It's fantastic. Great River Race in September for Explorers and Network. People have asked Day Prowl. So Day Prowl is our district hike, incident hike for explorers and scouts. It is happening next year. And no, not next year, this year. This year, my goodness, we're happening. It is happening in the autumn. Haven't got a date yet, but there we go. That's happening. Badge days and beavers and badge days for cubs are all in planning. And secret squirrel stuff, we are thinking about an outing for squirrels. Here's some few things about other activities. So they were specific activities and events, but there are activities that go on all throughout the year provided by district. 14th Richmond, the district boating centre. So here's a little plug for those guys. Evening boating on the Thames, 2-hour sessions on the Jubilant or other skerries, which in my terms they're actually called rowing boats, but apparently they're called skerries if you're a boating person, so apologies to Sea Scouts. It's available for all sections, so Cubs, Beavers, Scouts, Explorers and Network. Unfortunately, we can't, because of insurance things, can't do squirrels, but if you fancy doing that, you take advantage of the Thames. We've got 15 kilometres of Thames in our district. If you haven't been boating with these guys, go and do that. Look on the website, all the booking forms and everything are all there. The other brilliant activity that we do for Scouts and Explorers is the Extra Mile. So Graham, David and Mandy do some fantastic things. So book these guys as well. Wrappings and frappings is all about knots, knives, fire. And if you're at camp, they'll come to your campsite at camp and do some traditional spear making for a day or a half a day. It's absolutely terrific. Make sure you book them. There is no cost, but we do appreciate a little bit of offset and donation for some of the materials as well. You can book all of that, again, all of that stuff on the website. I'm going to sound like that. What's his bloke? You know, what's his name? The money fella. Other stuff from the district support team. Jack Petchy. That's all coming up. You'll be invited to submit some Jack Petchy things. So this is only for Scouts Explorers, but for all adults. Unfortunately, if you're Beavers and Cubs, they're not eligible for that. But you are eligible as adults, where you can get a certificate, and a medallion, and a cash grant for up to 750 quid. So that's worth doing. Look out for the emails and communications from Richard. I'll be sending out that signpost. But again, there's pages and pages of all of this background on the website. And a little plug as well, of course, for the district shop. Make sure that you use everything in the district shop, because we're retaining all the money. It is run by Richmond, our volunteers in Richmond, back to our own people. So it's raising money for ourselves. So all the money that the profits that we do make from badges, there isn't a lot of profit in badges, by the way, but a bit of profit from badges, but also from uniform, all gets ploughed back in. It doesn't disappear off to Glasgow or headquarters or anywhere else. It's our money. Let's keep it ours. Come and use the district shop. And finally, so I've been rattling on for a little while now, so you'll be pleased to know that we're very nearly the end of my little bit. But in the weeks and months to come, we are looking at some various things. So we've had some feedback. Peter has put out a little email lately, and there's been some responses there. So these are the things that the district team is looking at. Very much aware that we've now got some squirrel drays that are coming up. There's 2 more in the pipeline, but we haven't yet got that community of squirrel leaders. So we're looking to build that. Sarah Kershaw will be looking at some of that. To meet the squirrel leaders and make sure that the squirrel leaders can all talk to each other and have their own little forum and their own little team of stuff and do squirrely things, I guess. But one of them is we're thinking about that outing, for example. The other thing I'm very conscious about and reminded very often is that Cubs don't get much of a look in from a district perspective. So we are starting off, we have to start off a little bit small. We're looking at badge activities, which will be a fairly simple thing to do to start with, but also some more camping opportunities for Cubs as well. You know that we've had some trouble recruiting ADC Cubs in the old parlance before. The new team in the new structure, we were a little bit more flexible with that. So if you are interested and come and help with Cubs, it's not a full-time job or anything in district. What we're not trying to do is just fire up some events teams and that sort of thing. And we want to focus and put a spotlight on some of the Cubs stuff. Not forgetting Explorers and Network. So I haven't touched very much on the stuff that they're doing, but they've got a terrific program that's happening right now. Loads and loads of stuff happening, and that is again reflected in the census figures that those guys are picking up. And of course, I know it's 2027 for the World Scout Jamboree, but We're going to start looking at some of that now. We have to plan in advance. Scouting, I think, is always talking about being prepared. We'd be surprised how quickly World Scout Jamboree is going to come up in 2027. And as you know, as everybody should know, we are planning to take the district young people, that's scouts and explorers, to Poland to go and see the World Jamboree. So we've got several places, or several hundred places. We could be taking 300 young people if all goes to plan. Thing to remember, though, that it is in 2027. So if you're a cub leader watching this, thinking, oh, no, that's just scouts and explorers, in 2027, your cubs will be scouts. That's how far away it is. So think about it. It does apply to you as well. Talk about World Scout Jamboree to your cubs, because they probably will be scouts by 2027. This will be in August 2027. So there we are. That's pretty much the end of my little thing. Thank you for everything that you do. I talk about the district team. It's not the district team. We're all the district team. Everybody in Richmond. We are Team Richmond. And I want to thank you, all of us. There are, according to the census now, almost 500 of us volunteering in uniform and various other governance roles. It's tremendous. It's a privilege working with you all, and I thank you very much. That's the end of my speech, I think. So thank you. So I'm now going to finish my doodah here. I don't know what buttons I have to push because it's all very, very technical. And I don't know what happens now. What happens now then, Matt? I'm sitting here looking at Matt.
We haven't had any questions yet. So.
Oh, we've had no questions. So I must have been either fantastic or I've been on mute the whole time. So, so I wonder if we did have any questions. We got quite a few people on the call. We got, yeah, quite a lot, which is interesting. If you don't know, if you should know how to press the little thing, it is that little thing in the corner that looks like a little speech bubble. Matt has posted in there. So if you press on the speech bubble in the bottom right hand corner, Matt has put up the password for the members area if you can't remember, but it is a formula. We are Richmond upon Thames, RUT, and there is a number there that is a significant anniversary date if you're in scouting. So that's what that's all about. Doesn't look as though there's any comments. Oh, we do. We have. Do we have a sufficient working cascade for filtering information downwards to all section leaders? No, that's the whole point of. So that's why. So Peter's put a question. Do we have sufficient working cascade for filtering information downwards to all section leaders? So it's not downwards, it's across, because there's no up or down. We're all leaders, we're all volunteers. Our volunteers sections in groups should be working in teams, and I think we do anyway. So the whole purpose of having this all section meeting is to hear the stuff directly. So some of that cascade I know hasn't been working and wasn't working, where we relied on certain people to pass information across their teams. Some of that information was filtered. So what we're trying to do at this meeting is to cut across some of that and introduce the district team. So I think, and I'm hoping, that most of you will agree that myself personally, I'm quite approachable. So you can ask me anything at any time. And I'm very patient with all of that, as is everybody on the district team. So we're all here. Our main purpose, in fact, our only purpose, is to serve you as leaders, to make you better leaders, essentially. So all the stuff about everything else that we do, that is our purpose, is for the young people. That's why we're here. So I think we do. So if you are talking in your own teams and in groups, please do talk and say, look, there's that idiot on the telly the other day. Here's the link. Go and look at him, see what he says. But please do. Communication has been a bit of an issue around the district. I know I do get to hear, oh, nobody told me about this. I didn't know this event was happening. I didn't know how to do that. We're all here to do that. So please communicate and talk to each other. Cool. There aren't any other messages. Any questions from in the room? He says, looking around. So for those of you on the thing, so I'm sitting here. There's hundreds and hundreds of people in this room, and they're all keeping really, really quiet. That's a lie, actually. There's about 6 of us sitting in the room, but it's fine. But it is a wet Sunday afternoon, and it's horrible out there. So at least it's quite warm. What does Badge Day mean for Cubs? Right, very good question, Dot. Very good question. So beavers traditionally have been running badge days for some time. And what a badge day is they'll choose a badge. So whether that's the builder badge, a science badge, or any one of those proficiency badges, essentially. And we'll run a program so that every young person, not everybody, but every young person that comes should fulfill all the requirements for that badge and walk away pretty much with the badge on that day. So I think the Disability Awareness Badge is coming up for beavers shortly. They've got another badge day. I'm not sure what it is. It's air activities or air spotting or something. Air activities that's coming up as well in October. So you choose, a badge is chosen across the district, and the district team or the event organisers, maybe it's not the district team, hopefully it's a bunch of people in Cubs, can get together and provide all of the activities on tables or anything else to do to make sure that that Cub badge is completed on the day. Now what we're really looking for are things that you can't do so much in your Scout meeting place as a normal badge, and we're not looking to do things like home help and that sort of thing that normally you get a parental letter that comes in. What we're really looking for are things like science badge is a really cool one to do for Cubs, for example, on a badge day, because then we can bring in all of the volcanoes and rockets and link that to MPL and that sort of thing, and then it's all exciting. It's a big event. So if all the Cubs all turn up, everybody's excited. We all mix and meld, all running around like lunatics. Everybody's happy because everyone walks away with a badge that they've earned. We do publicise that in advance, so that it shouldn't clash with any of the programs that you're doing within your pack. But that's kind of what the badge day. I hope that explains a bit. Hopefully it does. Anyway, there's no more questions. I'm surprised. Good. You're very welcome, Dot. Very good. Fantastic. Thumbs up. Brilliant. Well, I'm not going to keep everybody sitting here sort of forever. I think I've said what we needed to say. Graham's raised a question, or maybe he just fell asleep on the keyboard. I don't know. Maybe he just fell asleep on the keyboard. He said it says raise the hand. Can't hear you because everyone's on mute. We muted that on purpose, otherwise it will make it a real mess. If you've got something to say, Graham, you need to just type it really quickly on the in that little corner piece down on the right hand corner where it's like a speech bubble. Maybe he's not a very quick typer. But, there you go. Well, anyway. Oh, sorry, error. There you go. I told you he'd fallen asleep on the keyboard. I just knew it. I just knew it. Right. Well, I think that there isn't much more to say. I think I've said my piece. We will do these fairly regularly. We'll do these once a term if people find that helpful or not. I'd like some feedback, what you thought about today, whether that's useful or not useful. But we did want to do something about all of these section meetings. I was turning up to Cub meetings and Scout meetings and all these various meetings, Explorer meetings, saying the same thing to the same people. It all just seemed a bit of a waste of time for everybody. So decided to do it this way. It is a bit of an experiment, I must admit. But let's see how we go. And if you've enjoyed it, tell all your friends. If you haven't enjoyed it, well, never mind. We will send out the link. Matt will send that out. And guess where it's going to be? It will be on the website. Go and look at the news on the website. So fantastic. Have a great day, everybody. Have your Sunday back. Or if you're watching on catch up, have the rest of your whatever you're doing. Enjoy. I'm going to say goodbye and sign off now. So thank you and goodbye.